Michael Chasen is the CEO of PrecisionHawk, a leading provider of drone technology for the enterprise. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Previously, Michael was the co-founder and CEO of Blackboard, an education technology company that he started in 1997, grew to over 3,000 employees and went public in 2004, sold for $1.7 billion in 2011. After Blackboard, Michael founded Social Radar, a company focused on using satellite and street-level photos to geolocate business storefronts, which he sold to Verizon in 2016. Here to give us his views, Michael Chasen from PrecisionHawk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Chasen. I'm the CEO of PrecisionHawk, and I am incredibly excited to be able to be here to help kick off InterDrone 2018. As you heard a little bit about my past, I was the co-founder and first CEO of Blackboard, a company that I got to grow from a small brownstone in downtown DC to end up being a very large public company, which I got to run for 7 years before selling. I then started another company that ended up being acquired by Verizon, and that gave me the opportunity to then come and join the PrecisionHawk team. I was so incredibly excited when I met the people that were at the forefront of helping an industry that had really just started, an industry that just started getting the momentum behind it to grow, to be able to stand on its own. Now, one of the first things that I did when I came on board PrecisionHawk, you may have read in the news, we ended up closing about a $75 million round of financing. And I want to share with you an early story that took place. I remember very early on, I was meeting with some potential investors. I was sitting down with some venture capitalists. And I sat down at the table, and he looked across and said, "So, Michael, tell me about this company, PrecisionHawk." I said, "Sure. PrecisionHawk is a company focused on drone software. Let me explain. My own background, I worked at KPMG Marwick doing enterprise software installations. After that, I started Blackboard. I built this big enterprise software company. Then I built software to improve location accuracy. We think that software is the way to go. It's going to revolutionize the industry. We want to focus on analytics and machine learning, and that has good margins, and that's how we're going to scale and grow internationally." And he leaned back in his chair and he said, "Michael, that's ridiculous. You want to be a services company. Basically, you can hire drone pilots to collect a bunch of data, then hire data scientists to be able to analyze that data. You can hire them at $100 an hour, build them out at $200 an hour. Just like Oracle and IBM, you almost give away the software for free and you do these large enterprise software installations. You're from Washington, D.C. There are all these consultants working in the Department of Defense and in the industry and for the top consulting agencies that you can hire. You should be a services organization. I'm not interested in investing, thank you." I got up from that meeting and I ended up going to another meeting right across town. Now, you guys don't really know me well, but the one thing I'll tell you, I am a quick learner. I sat down at the table and the next investor sat down and said, "Well, Michael, tell me about your company." I said, "Sure, let me explain. I'm the CEO of PrecisionHawk. We're a company focused in drone services. We're going to work with a bunch of pilots to collect the data. Then we're going to hire data scientists to be able to analyze that data. We can hire them for $100 an hour, build them out at $200 an hour. That's a great margin. We want to be like IBM or Oracle. We're going to almost give away the software for free. And then we're going to use it as an opportunity to do these large enterprise service engagements." And he leans back in his chair and he says, "Michael, that's ridiculous. You need to be a product company. Products have big margins. That's the only way to scale over time. You're from Washington, D.C. You can't even hire these consultants. They're all working for the government or working for the top 5 consulting agencies already. I'm going to have to pass." Now, look, the reason that I am sharing that story is I do believe that fundamentally the drone industry overall is going a little bit back and forth. Are we an industry focused on drones as a service? Or are we an industry that recognizes that the next step we need to take is focusing on the software and the analytics to take that data that we're gathering and make it useful to the companies and enterprises that want to change and influence the way that they're doing business? Now, today you can see the growth on both sides. Today there's over 100,000 Part 107 certified pilots now in the United States. This has seen exponential growth just over the last 12 months. As a company, PrecisionHawk has over 30 full-time dedicated drone pilots, and we run a website, a network of over 15,000 Part 107 certified pilots in the United States and many around the world. And this is great because we're hearing from the pilots themselves and the enterprises the importance of not only the data collection, but also in making that data useful to their enterprises. And it is great working with so many drone pilots because we hear what is going on in the field. We speak with many of them weekly, if not daily. And many of them reach out to me directly. I got an email not too long ago. It was sent to CEO at PrecisionHawk.com from Seth Kessler. And the subject was, appreciate the feedback. He wrote to me, I wanted to say thank you to your team for helping me better understand the drone and sensor technology along with my other questions about the drone job market. I'm launching my own drone business and appreciate all of your assistance pointing me in the right direction. Your Droners.io website has been a big help in getting me started. And that's fantastic. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved in this industry. And what this email is telling us is that other entrepreneurs are moving into this industry and that there's momentum and people are excited and they're starting jobs, and that's going to help push this whole drone industry forward. But I don't just get positive emails. Sometimes I get negative emails as well. Like this email that was sent to CEO of PrecissionHawk.com and apparently came from PrecissionHawkSucks326@gmail.com. The title was Thanks for Nothing. This individual wrote me, Dear PrecissionHawk CEO, I feel I must tell you that I'm not getting enough work to fly drones full time. A lot of the posted jobs require advanced sensors or even job-specific training. With all the requirements and specific rules they want us to follow, it's not as enjoyable. Thanks for helping take the fun out of flying drones. Now look, even though this is supposed to be a negative email, there's some great takeaways from this, right? I mean, actually, we are seeing more and more jobs that are requiring either very high-end visual sensors or other sensors like thermal or even LiDAR. And even though everyone took the time to become Part 107 certified, a lot of the jobs we're seeing getting posted also require additional training. For example, you need to be trained on exactly the type of data that needs to be collected if you're flying a cell tower. And that's actually different from the way you fly a house that might have hail damage. And that's actually very different from how you might fly a utility pole. So these are true trends that are taking place in the market. So again, even emails like this to me are helpful. Although, I mean, if I'm really being honest, I'm still a little, of course, taken back. Although I don't know what's worse. The fact that he literally said I was taking the fun out of flying drones, or the fact that apparently PrecissionHawk Sucks 1 through PrecissionHawk Sucks 325 are all taken. It's a little... anyways. So I think that we can all agree that this is a fast-growing industry. But I think that the same way you can reverse that question and say, is it growing fast enough? Now that Part 107 is in place, why isn't the industry moved forward even further? I believe that there are three key items that we are on the precipice that are really going to help elevate this industry to the next level. More detailed industry expertise, analytics and machine learning, and beyond visual line of sight. Now let me explain what I mean in more detail and walk through how PrecissionHawk is focusing on each of these things to move the industry forward faster. You know, this time last year, my team was spending a lot of time with clients about how they can use drones and how they can use sensors to collect the data, and was it legal, and how would they deploy it, and what would that data look like? Now, a year later, and really even just over the last few months, those conversations have completely changed. The conversations we're having now is, the companies say, yes, we know we can get data with drones. We're well versed on that. We even have drone pilots, or we access your pilot network. We know we can get that data. But how does that data improve the way we're doing business? What's the analytics that you can provide us that changes the way we're taking that data and makes it actionable? And now, PrecissionHawk, luckily, we grew up in agriculture. So we have a bunch of experts in ag. And so for a while, we had already been applying analytics and machine learning to agriculture as an industry. But in the last year or so, we've seen a huge uptick, in particular in the energy and utility space, in companies that wanting to use data not just to collect aerial imagery, but also to understand how that collected data could enhance their customer service, could speed up repair, and also, and most importantly, support safer operations for their employees. And while PrecisionHawk has been working with a number of companies in the energy and utility space, as a company, I didn't feel that we had that deep level expertise to help elevate these conversations we were having on how to deploy drone technology to the next level. So this morning, I am pleased to say that we have announced that PrecisionHawk has acquired 2 of the leading companies in the drone energy and renewable space that we believe will be able to better enable us to support this industry that is rapidly looking to deploy drone technology. We have acquired both HAZON Solutions and InspecTools. The 3 of us together now are able to take all of that combined knowledge and experience and really help elevate the energy and renewable energy industry. HAZON brings extensive aviation experience, standard-based operating procedures, certified drone flight and inspection services, widely regarded as the best in the energy and utility industry, to the PrecisionHawk team. The company has over 13,000 inspections in its belt, totaling over 8,000 hours of flight time, with the majority focused in energy and utility companies in the Fortune 500. InspecTools brings data analysis and machine learning tools specifically built for renewable energy. Their market-leading software for both solar panels and wind turbines is utilized by some of the largest equipment and service providers in the world, including Vestas, PG&E, and SMA Solar. And not only do they bring a sophisticated set of software tools to the PrecisionHawk portfolio, but it's really best-in-class technology around renewable energy. This is the type of industry knowledge that I am talking about when I talk about market expertise and what we believe is required to take drone technology to the next level. The combination of these companies have unparalleled experience in energy, renewable energy, the utility space, and have a host of clients that we are now partnered with to help elevate this entire industry. But that's just the energy market. Over the last few months, we've also seen tremendous focus in the insurance market as well. So we went and partnered and took investment from the undisputed leader in the insurance space, EagleView. Not only are they utilizing more and more of Droners.io for their inspection work, but we're working closely with them to expand the data and analytics they can provide in these reports automatically. Now, not only does this enable PrecisionHawk to have an expertise in the insurance space, but we're taking and equipping many of the 15,000 pilots in our Droners.io network with the training and knowledge to be successful in servicing these type of opportunities. By absorbing this infrastructure regarding industry needs and applications and then sharing it with the industry through education, we're further advancing the industry overall. But taking that market expertise and value, it needs to be translated into tangible results. And the way that happens is by focusing the software around analytics and machine learning. We believe the value in that software lies deep-rooted market expertise that you can gain by working closely and partnering with these type of institutions, and then taking that knowledge and turning it into actionable intelligence that a business can leverage. So let me talk a little bit more about what we're doing with analytics and machine learning. Let me show you a little bit about what we've been focused on. Now, many of you know that for years we've had a product, Precision Analytics for Agriculture, that can help people in the farm or big ag industry do everything from count their plants or the size of the canopy cover or look at the health of plants. But now, as we've started collecting more data, we're enabling our clients to start using machine learning to look at how changes in their own growth patterns and structures can help improve their yield over time. We're bringing to market Precision Analytics Cell Tower that will not only be able to measure cell towers to make sure and take a look at all the inventory and assets that are on those towers, but again, at the same time as we're collecting this data, can use machine learning to even identify issues potentially in advance as this data continues to be collected. Through our acquisition of InspecTools, we're adding Precision Analytics Wind Turbine. InspecTools has one of the largest collections of information on wind turbines already collected by drones. All of that information can be fed in to, again, help maybe even proactively identify problems before they start. Similarly with Precision Analytics Solar, flying drones over solar panel fields to be able to identify over 50 different potential problems. And this year, we're continuing to bring out other new products, such as Precision Analytics distribution lines, transmission lines, and roof. All of these are examples of specific applications that we want to help bring to market, because we believe that this can not only empower the enterprise to be able to take advantage of all of this data we've been talking about collecting, but getting these type of software applications in the hands of the pilots themselves So they can actually take all of that service work they're doing, collecting that data, turn it into actionable business results that the companies can use to really, and for the first time, take advantage of this type of aerial intelligence to improve the way that they fundamentally do business. But up until now, the business has really been limited in seeing the economic benefit of drone flights, and I believe that one of the critical pieces of tearing down that last wall is beyond visual line of sight. And I think tremendous progress has been made even just over the last 6 months in this area. Now, up until now, as everybody here is well aware, we've been limited to flying a mile. So a drone pilot has to be able to keep the drone within his visual line of sight. Now, about 2 years ago, we worked with the FAA to publish the very first Pathfinder report, which identified how companies could safely fly drones a little bit more expanded, but a 3-mile radius. Or maybe the drone pilot couldn't see the drone, but they'd still be able to identify aircraft in the vicinity, and therefore, with the proper training and understanding of the safety cases, they would be able to make sure that there was no potential conflict with their drone operations. Just a few months ago, we released the final phase of the Pathfinder report, a report that identified both the safety cases and the technology that would be required to have drones fly 50 miles or beyond. And you can understand why this is so critical for the enterprise. Jay from USAA said that by mapping a typical area of interest using BVLOS, drone-based data collection, USAA could save 20% on costs associated with claims adjustments. We're talking, this is over tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Troy Gonzalez from Booz Allen said that with drones, they expect to be 7 to 10 times faster than existing operations. That their improved efficiency would allow them to increase inspection frequency and reduce risk. So these are people who are waiting and who are really starting to say, hey, we know that there's just a giant economic benefit to being able to extend the length of a flight, to collect data over a greater areas, and to do it at a much cheaper rate. So a few months ago, we released the final version of the Pathfinder report. You can download that report at FAAPathfinderReport.com if you haven't already. And in it, it talked about how to build a safety case. And for those of you that are looking to extend your own drone operations, if you need help with the safety cases, we offer services to help other companies be able to fly BVLOS. We want to support this as an industry, so please come talk to us. But more importantly, it also identified key technologies that drones would have to have if you wanted to truly fly safely under the guise of the FAA. And so we're working with a number of partners in the industry to bring that technology to market. So first, it was important for the drone to be able to recognize where all cooperative aircrafts are, where all aircrafts that have an ADS-B transponder, that beacon that lets you know where the plane is in the sky. Now, if you go to the internet and you use FlightAware or one of those other flight apps to see where the planes are, that's often offset by a few minutes or not exactly in the right location for safety concerns. So we had to go to Harris to get the live data feed of where all of the planes in the US were. And we feed that directly into the drone through Lattice. This live data feed lets the drone be aware of the airspace around it for all large commercial flights and other aircraft that have that ADS-B transponder. But that isn't enough, because all planes and helicopters and other aircraft don't all have the ADS-B transponder yet. Many of the smaller planes, or crop dusters, for example, or smaller Cessnas, they may not have that technology incorporated, and they may be flying exactly in the area where you're deploying your drone solutions. So we then looked to partner with a company called Sarah, a company that had developed an acoustic-based aircraft detection system. It's light and low power, not much bigger than the size of an iPhone, and with antennas placed around the drone, it can actually hear a plane from over 10 kilometers away. It can then alert the pilot, and the pilot can take control of the drone and move it out of the way, and if he doesn't respond, the drone will just automatically lower to ensure that there is no potential conflict. And we're installing these two technologies on drones so they're aware now generally of the airspace around them. And when you're talking about enabling true beyond visual line of sight flying, it's beyond just putting together the safety case. It's making sure that the drone on its own can report what's happening in the airspace back to the pilot so the pilot can make actionable decisions on how to avoid potential conflict. Let me actually show you this technology at work. This was the actual test that we did during the Pathfinder study. And see if you can identify the plane that is coming directly at the drone. Now, for the sake of this video, we actually just put the drone on the ground to make sure that everybody is safe. But we're going to go ahead, see if you can find the plane, and we'll show you what it looks like when our system can identify the aircraft. So our system actually heard the sound of an aircraft already and is alerting the pilot that there's a potential conflict. And the pilot can quickly respond or move to another way, but he hasn't yet, and now it is alerting that the plane is very close. And now the drone would automatically take action and lower itself to the ground. You can see right in the center of the screen, a little to the left, the plane flying just below the cloud cover. So you can see how technology like this can really actually go beyond even what the pilots can see in the sky and let them know far in advance that there's a potential conflict so that the pilot can take the steps to mitigate any potential problem. And this technology has gotten so small now, you can put it on a drone. You know, one of the challenges with radar, for example, is it's too heavy. It doesn't have that necessarily 360-degree of view. It draws too much power for drones, or the ones that you can't put on a drone have very limited range. This acoustic-based aircraft detection system has a 360-degree sense of range going out as far as 10 kilometers and gives the pilots plenty of time to be able to avoid the drone. This technology, when combined with the Lattice data feed, really enables us to be able to put together a drone that can now fly for miles, gather the aerial information together in a way that's much more cost-effective than has been able to be done previously. And maybe that'll allow you to see the plane that was nearby the whole time that your drone just didn't notice. So I talked today about 3 key areas that I believe are going to elevate this industry to the next level, and shared with you what PrecisionHawk is doing in each of these areas. I talked about the importance of industry expertise, how companies that are focusing in drones and sensors need to have a better understanding of the markets that they're serving. They need to be able to work with the companies and say, hey, we're not just talking about deploying new technology, but how does that new technology affect your bottom line? How does it give you the information to fundamentally improve the way that you're doing business? Then you need to take that market expertise and you need to translate it into analytics and machine learning and software to make sure that both the pilots and the companies have the tools to execute that, to get actionable business intelligence so they can better run their businesses. And lastly, I believe that beyond visual line of sight is going to finally open up the economics of flying drones long range and collecting that data, making it much more not only affordable, but really having a benefit to the bottom line of the businesses, which is going to take and cause this industry to definitely rise to the next level. But the real driver of the industry is the people in this room. Whether you're the entrepreneurial drone pilot or building a drone in your garage, or you're a company that's building a drone in your garage, or you're a pilot that's utilizing the technology to help companies get this actionable business intelligence, we are the people that are helping drive this industry forward. So if I was to respond to those emails that I shared earlier, I'd probably send the same result to both of the drone pilots. I'd probably say something like, this industry is just at the beginning, not at the end. That we're on the precipice of truly realizing the value of this technology, but it hasn't happened yet. And while this industry is certainly getting more complex, I believe the fun is just beginning. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come share some of my thoughts on what's happening in the industry today, as well as what it's going to take for us to achieve that next step. And I'd like to invite all of you to come swing by our booth. We have a mini theater set up. It probably can't hold all of you at the same time, so try to stagger it out throughout the day. But if you'd like to come and hear a recap of this keynote, if you want to learn more about flying beyond visual line of sight and how we might be able to help your organization do so, if you want to hear more about our acquisitions of HAZON or InspecTools, or you want to talk more about some of the advanced sensors and drone technology that we've seen now being deployed in the field, please come by today, and we have a schedule of events for the next 3 days. I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation with all of you, and I think it's going to be a great conference. Before we go, if everyone wouldn't mind, though, just for one quick second, smiling, so I can get a good stage selfie. If someone wasn't smiling in the back, one more. Terrific. I want to thank all of you, and I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you very much, everybody.